Okay, so I saved this all show for you. So,
what?
I want you to tell me what you think of this. The Russians, the Russian Hockey Federation was fined on Monday over the national team snubbing of Canada's victory celebration after the World Championship final. The sport's governing body, the IIHF, said that the Russian players deliberately left the ice before Canada's national anthem was played after a signal from Captain Kovalchuk. The Russian Federation had claimed its players had been confused after the ringside gate was left open and took that as a sign to leave following the 6-1 bitch slapping that they had in May in Prague. What do you think of that? Do you think bullshit that they were just pissed off that they lost 6-1 and got off the ice?
What else would they say?
What else would they say is right, Bill. But I remember the first game in Montreal. We didn't know we were supposed to shake hands after the game. Nobody told us. We didn't do it in the NHL.
Yeah, but that was the first international tournament in the history of the NHL.
Yeah, but we didn't know, and we left the...
I agree with you, sweetheart, but that was the first tournament. How many tournaments since that year in 1972 and now until now has there international tournaments as there been? And come on, Phil. I mean, I think
maybe they were just giving it back
off that they got big
in 72. Maybe. Who knows? And you know what? To me, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. I don't... big.
So why did it get fined? If it wasn't a big deal, why wouldn't they say...
Well, it is by the IIHF, whatever that fucking governing body
IIHF, Phil.
Okay, whatever it is. And to me, I'm just... To tell you the truth, to me, it's not a big deal.
I agree with you. But it does show a little bit of unsportsmanlike conduct from poor losers.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it's happened before, and probably will happen again. And like I said, these guys. But Kovalchuk knows better. I can tell you, if he's the captain, hey, right, Billy? He knows better.
Kovalchuk was a great player in the NHL, was one of my favorite players. Why the fuck, if he played in the NHL, and he knows during the playoffs, everybody shakes hands. Everybody shakes hands.
Oh,
like they even shook Lemieux's hand, who destroyed Draper's face in the playoffs during Detroit.
Yeah, well, after the final, yeah. Well,
they shook his hands. A lot of players wanted to fucking kill him for the cheap shot that he gave Draper. Am I right, Billy, or not?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, have you ever seen Lemieux? Lemieux's 5 inches taller than Draper. At least. I would say closer to 6, 7.
I played with guys that...
Claude Lemieux was really hated on that cheap shot to Chris Draper, and they still shook his fucking hand because that's what you're supposed to do in the playoffs. Hey. Correct or not?
Well, that's what everybody says here, but I played with guys that wouldn't shake hands with other players after we lost out.
So, I'm not going to be a fucking hypocrite. There's a lot of fucking times I played in tournaments, I won't shake hands, and if the guy opens his mouth, I'm going to fucking knock his fucking teeth so far down his ass that he can fucking shove a toothbrush up his ass to brush him. I'm not a hypocrite. I understand animosity, I understand passion, and I understand some guys are fucking scumbags during a tournament or a game, but still, my point, I think both of you guys know what my point is.
What is your point?
What is your
point? My point is that that's what you're supposed to fucking do, and Kovalchuk should not have called his team on the bench and embarrassed them. They already got embarrassed once by losing 6-1. He embarrassed them twice.
Okay, so what
that's my point. And that's what we do. We report shit that happens, whether it's irrelevant or relevant.
Yeah, well, that's right, but he didn't do it, so what are you going to do? They got fined and they got reprimanded.
That's it. Okay, let's move on.